Hi everyone and welcome back to Chef Seats. Today we're going to be making a super tasty brunch dish, an egg frittata. That's right, this one pan dish is the best thing for all your Sundays and especially when you got your little hangover. And just like always, only thing we're going to need are a few simple ingredients. So let's get started with our prep. As you know, I like to get all my knife work done first. So what we have right here is just half an onion and we're just going to julienne it up really nice and quickly. Set that aside. Grab our bulb of fennel, cut off the stems, and just set these guys aside. You could use those for another dish later on tonight. And cut the fennel bulb right in half. We're only going to need half one. And you see how right here the stem is really thick? Well, what we're going to have to do right now is trim this stuff a little bit. Make it all even size so that it cooks nice and evenly. So slice that in half, slice this again, and chop it on down. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Fennel gives a really nice flavor to any dish. It's a really nice anise flavor and it actually tends to calm the stomach as well. Really nice and soothing flavor. Let's set this aside also. Now let's go ahead and grab our Fresno chili. If you can't grab a Fresno chili, you can get any other different type of chili that you like. This is about a medium heat chili. So cut this guy in half and just discard the seeds. We don't need it too hot, so just gonna get rid of them. Place these right on top of each other and just slice them on up. It's going to be adding a nice little bit of spice to the dish, a nice little balance. Onions, mushrooms, fennel, chili. I think we're all going to like it. Now the only thing we need to do is grab our maitake mushrooms and start taking them apart. You guys probably already know this is like one of my favorite mushrooms that we could buy at the local store. It has a really nice earthy flavor and has a nice body to it as well. See? Look, just like that. Easy peasy. Now that we have all of our prep work done, star ingredient, the eggs. So grab a mixing bowl, of course, start cracking them on up, and make sure we don't have any shells in it. And now after we get them all cracked up, one after the other, and look how fast that went. Haha, speed of the camera. The only thing we need to have to do is beat them up really well. And what I like to use is a whisk. This might take a moment or two, but you just want to make sure that your eggs are beaten and incorporated really nice and smoothly. There you are. Now with our non-stick saute pan, what I like to do is grab about a tablespoon and a half of butter. Let it start melting. This is the medium-high heat right here. Make sure that you get butter all on the sides, all on the bottom. This is going to really help prevent the egg from sticking, or the frittata, shall I say, from sticking to the side when we eventually bake it in the oven. Okay, butter is broken down. Let's add our veggies in, all of them except for the mushrooms. At this point we could add seasoning, salt, and pepper. As you probably noticed, I did not add any seasoning to the eggs. We're just going to season the vegetables in layers. I just don't want to over season the eggs and the vegetables not to be seasoned. It's just the way that I've been learned to cook. It's almost like making a sauce. You want to build in layers with your seasoning. And now that our vegetables are about pretty translucent, starting to get a little al dente, slight bite to the, flavor, add a little bit more butter into this pan. And what we need to do right now is add our mushrooms right on top. You don't want to overcook the mushrooms, so that's why I'm going to add them in at the second half of the cooking. Keep its little texture while we end up having our frittata. So now at this point, the only thing we're going to have to do is get our mushrooms cooking just a little bit. Get some earthy flavor in it, and right now this house is smelling wonderful, filled with all this flavor. So let's just get this coming around for a second. Just maybe about 1.5 minutes of cooking. You can see some of the vegetables are going to start caramelizing. That's going to add a lot of flavor to it, so don't be alarmed. That's nice. At this point we could add some herbs, whatever you like. Today I'm adding some chives and some parsley. Get those all tossed in between. And right now is when we add all of our eggs in. If you've watched my video on how to make an American omelet, well, this is going to be the same technique right here. Add all those eggs in, and what we need to start doing is scraping the eggs from the side. You're going to see, check this out. Scrape the eggs from the side and just bring it on in. What this is going to create is it's going to create the eggs to cook in layers and going to prevent a lot of coloring on these. There you go, one after another, one after another. And you don't got to cook it too much, because what we're about to do right now is put this in the oven at 375 degrees for about 12 minutes. There you go, coming apart. And you see it's starting to form together pretty well. There you are. See, just like filling a little lakes. Nice. Alright, let's go take this bad boy into this oven over here and bake it on off. There we are. So now only thing we need to do, once again, 375, 12 minutes, let them ride and come back to it. Right now it's just time that we let it relax. Alright, it's been 12 minutes. Let's pull this bad boy out of the oven and let's check it out. Woohoo! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a nice frittata. Alright, let's go plate this up. Now, see the edges on the sides? What we need to do is release it very gently, and because we put all that butter in, it's going to really help it slide off. Check that out. And the best way to get this out is, boom, flip it on over. Let's just cut this up a little bit. You could cut this into whatever size portions you prefer, but right now I'm going to cut mine up into eighths. So let's quarter it first and then quarter it again. Make sure you wipe your knife in between slicing. It's going to really help you cut nice clean strokes. There you go. So let's plate up. Toss a few pieces of frittata on whichever plate you like. Right here we're just going to go on a nice little curve, and you know what, toss this with a nice little salad, and this is perfect for the beginning of your brunch. Ladies and gentlemen, there you are. Well folks, I'm really excited to share with you how I like to make my Italian frittata for my brunch every Sundays. Of course, just like always, here's the recipe as following, and I'm really excited to hear any feedback. Let me know if you did anything different. I'm really excited to hear. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.